You done watching it?
Mm-hmm.
Will you marry me? I'd make a good husband, Jenny.
You would, Forrest.
But you won't marry me.
You don't want to marry me.
Why don't you love me, Jenny? I'm not a smart man, but I know what love is.
I don't recall what I got for my first Christmas, and I don't know when I went on my first outdoor picnic, but I do remember the first time I heard the sweetest voice in the wide world.
You can sit here if you want.
I had never seen anything so beautiful in my life. She was like an angel. It was like peas
Love
and
exists as an
carrots.
undefinable force that simply causes the unconditional cooperation between two entities.
She taught me
It
how
is
to
uncontrollable and strikes quickly like the pulmonary beat of a heart. When love is true, it prevails above outside interference. No one object or monetary value can amount to love. It is more valuable than any material matter. Above all, love does not always have a clear, understandable reason as to why, but simply creates a desire to give.
Sometimes we just sit out and wait for the stars.
Mama's gonna worry about me. Just stay a little longer.
For some reason, Jenny didn't ever want to go home.
Okay, Jenny, I'll stay.
She was my most special friend.
In Sue Monk Kids: The Secret Life of Bees, Lily and Rosaline, after running away from home, seek refuge in the home of three African-American sisters named the Boatwrights. Although the circumstance was already quite unorthodox that a random duo of strangers would ask to stay in the home in order to hide from someone tracking them down, Lily was a young white girl who during the 1950s would not necessarily have been looked upon in a positive light for going to black women for help. Almost every aspect of Lily's situation was completely strange and dangerous, but despite Lily's father searching for her in desperate anger, the millions of Americans who wouldn't stand to see white and black people in the same room, and the pure absurdity of Lily's request for refuge, the Boatwright sisters still took both Lily and Rosaline in and made them a part of the household. The complete sacrifice of safety made by the Boatwright sisters, even with their lives possibly on the line, demonstrated the generosity in their hearts and the love they had for humanity despite the danger they were in and the lack of what they would receive in return. Although it is quite difficult to understand the reason as to why the Boatwright sisters felt the love they did to accept Lily and Rosaline, love itself is never completely understandable. Love is sought after by man in an attempt to feel a sense of wholeness or completeness in life. Love stems from the self and exists within one's reality. Once one can create peace within their inner self, they can create peace with humanity, enabling them to view from others' perspectives and respect others' judgment. We should love because once we realize that love exists within us all and has no material worth, man may see that all love has the same value and all men make up the same working body. All things are connected and done, and until we stop separating ourselves from our enemies, the world will always be the same.
Happiest moment of my life.
Is it even tied?
When one is unable to create peace within
I'm glad it
themselves,
was something
they look
though.
for love, peace, or
I could've
stability in
lost my
others.
pants right
For
in the middle of
example,
our
in
tea.
John Knowles' A Separate Peace, when Gene is unable
That
to
wouldn't
create
have been
peace
good.
within himself,
Not in front
he
of you and
finds
the
the need to
headmaster.
hold on to his friend Phineas so that he can feel his happiness and excitement. Gene feeds off Phineas' energy by using Phineas' failures as his own benefits, his excitements as his own happiness, and his personality as his own personality. Gene ultimately depends on Phineas like a drug to supply him with the love and other humanly emotions that he lacks to help him create inner peace.
Oh, I need to clear out my head all that talking.
In other cases, one may have the ability to create peace within themselves, but struggles to find peace with humanity as one working body. In J.D. Salinger's Catcher in the Rye, Holden sneaks out of his third boarding school to escape the endless number of phonies in Pensy Prep. He cannot help but feel like everyone in the world is simply acting fake to bother him. Although Holden is not entirely at peace with himself, he demonstrates his inability to create peace within humanity as a whole and the act of assuming that all things that happen are to directly affect himself.
And people always.
In other words, he was never satisfied with a single person in his life, therefore giving him no true friends, nobody to care for him, and nobody to love him. He struggles to understand that other people similar to him have motives to do things that are unusual to others. Holden fails to take the time to observe others' actions through their eyes and try to understand their motives for those actions. Instead, he simply judges and assumes that that person made their decision with simply him in mind and deliberately acts as the center of the universe. Holden's inability to create peace with the human race ultimately led him to a bitter life of unenjoyment, depression, and separation from humanity.
So
With all this said, many look to the future and wonder how modern technology, the lack of cooperation, the addition of unneeded competition, and the challenges of finding peace will affect the future of our world. Simply, if man could see from the eyes of his neighbors, he would truly understand their troubles. Although this is not physically possible and should not be expected of man, by trying to step back and take a look at any given situation through the eyes of another man makes the individual less an individual, and ever more a part of the human race. As humans, every person is entitled to their own wants, desires, needs, thoughts, ideas, and
You
beliefs
died
that will
on
never
a
be
Saturday
uniform across
morning.
the entire species. One man finds love within his own
had you
desires, thoughts,
placed
beliefs, etc. He can
here
create
under
peace
our
with
tree.
himself, ultimately allowing him to form peace with humanity and to regain the cooperation that was once so powerful
And
that
I
brought the
had
human
that
race from prehistoric times to
Outseed
modern day.
father, bulldozed
Love
to the
exists as a
ground.
force quite larger than humanity itself, but stems from individuals who together can create
Mama.
universal cooperation and peace.
Always said dying was a part of life. I sure wish it wasn't.